Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Buccos broadcast, a new podcast for the Champions League Baseball Simulation Online League for OOTP. My name is Local Pobs. I am the general manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Just took over the beginning of September in the year 2055. I've been with the team for about 2 sims now, so nothing too exciting going on. We, unsurprisingly, are near the bottom of the league. I believe, we're the first team eliminated from the 2055 playoff contention. No chance of making the playoffs. We are looking at, do we reach 60 wins or 100 losses first? The expectation would be reaching 100 losses first. Current record is 53-96. That is a 35.6 winning percentage. As looking at the reports on statsplus.net, magic number does not exist. Why? Because we can't make the playoffs. Last 10, we are 3-7. In-game date is 9/13. That is September 13th, 2055. Unsurprisingly, the Pirates are struggling. They have been for the last few seasons. Talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But first, I wanted to highlight a couple of nice little performances that we had in these last few games. Unfortunately, I did have 2 injuries to my outfielders. Ben Baker, our normal left fielder, only appeared in 3 games this sim, but did have over a 2,000 OPS in those 3 games. He's expected to only miss about 4 more days. He won't be making a trip to the IL this time in September. Hopefully Ben can come back and continue to perform as well as he did, going 3 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs in 7 plate appearances over those 3 games. Our other injury was to an outfielder as well. Center fielder Alex Orozco did appear in 6 games, made 25 plate appearances, batting average of .087 with an OPS of .334, 1/7 roughly the performance that Ben Baker put forward in 3 games. Mind you, just from a rate perspective, Orozco still just had 2 hits in those 6 games, so did not contribute offensively from a counting or a rate perspective for the team. Overall top starting pitching performance for the team this sim was Steve Hocknell going 7 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, no walks, and 3 strikeouts against the Milwaukee Brewers for the win. Team ended up winning 6-4, so the bullpen gave up 3 runs in 2 innings of relief. That's a little concerning, but it is what it is. We did have 3 relievers go more than 1 inning throughout the week and not allow a single earned run. Shoutouts to Steve Addison, Jim Rose, and Bob Jack. All went at least 2 1/3. Nobody gave up a run. Most hits allowed by any of them were 3. Only Jim Rose gave up a walk, and he only gave up 1. That's encouraging to see. Why couldn't the rest of my bullpen do a little bit of that? Who knows? But it is what it is. We had a mixed bag of pitching performances and hitting performances. That's kind of how this season has gone for the Pirates. Speaking of which, welcome to the Buccos broadcast. Obviously, my name is Local Pobs. I have just joined Champions League Baseball. As a couple of people have noted, I am a fan of creating stuff for a new league. So going to try to put together a podcast episode with some regularity. It probably won't be every real life week, but it'll be when I can to some extent, probably 2 a month. With the sim schedule that we have in this league, where it's going to be 3 or 4 sims a week and then a little more accelerated for postseason and off-season, there may be more opportunities to release some episodes as stuff develops or as stuff happens within the league. We'll have to wait and see. And part of it is me trying to figure out what I want to try to talk about for this. This is definitely going to be a rebuild project for the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's not a team that I feel is anywhere close to competing. They probably just need some quick changes as well as definitely some work under the hood for player development and revenue generating. From a player development perspective, the last 2 amateur drafts, so both the 2054 and the 2055, Pirates signed 1 of their top 10 picks in both of those drafts. So you're looking at 9 to 11 picks from both of those drafts on the top end of the draft, not joining the organization and not working their way through the system and developing and becoming close to Major League ready. Depending on how close the first round pick in 2054 was, they might have had a chance to contribute in 2056 or maybe early in 2057. I can't say for sure. The league probably makes the right decision to retire and or delete players that are not signed, who do not return to college from the draft. That way they cannot be easily picked up by other teams, especially if you have a team like the Pirates who were at times run by the AI or just did not have anybody making an export. So I think that's the right call, but it does leave the team kind of bereft of talent a couple drafts in a row. That's fine. The hope is for me to be here to develop talent going forward. From a revenue and like payroll perspective and budget perspective, The last time this team was above 500 was the 2049 season when they won 101 games. They won the division, made the playoffs. That's fantastic. They had great attendance, almost 3 million people attended games, and they had a respectable payroll of 185 million. There are various rules for not necessarily a salary cap, but luxury tax in a way for the Champions League baseball. And getting up above some of those thresholds means you pay a little more, which is fine. And this would have been probably a season or two that the Pirates then paid into that a little bit, but they can hopefully receive money now from that for the next few seasons. As I mentioned, 2049 was the last time they were above 500. They went from 101 wins to 72, and then 69, 72, 81, 61, and we are currently at 53, hoping to maybe reach 60. I joined beginning of September. I don't want to take responsibility for 45 of those wins or 80 of those losses. I don't remember what the record was when I joined the Pirates, but I can jump back and look. That's easy to take care of. But the hope is that this team can be improved partially this first offseason so that we are respectable in the NL Central to some extent. But there's also some development that needs to happen within the minors. There was a variety of international amateurs that I think were still out there that could have been signed. And I think I brought in a few to the international complex to kind of kickstart first contribution to the development and the minor league system, along with kind of struggling with the record again, not above 500 since 2049. So that is 5 full seasons. We're going to have another season where we're below 500, so that's 6 in a row. With that comes decreased attendance and decreased revenue and therefore budget. The budget going into the 2050 season was $224 million. Right now, 2055, we're dealing with $184 million. So that is a $40 million decrease in budget. And we're going to continue seeing a decrease in the budget because revenues just are not keeping up right now. Next year, I'm expected to have $176 million as a budget. 2057, right now, the accounting page is projecting $170 million. And that has to also account for our staff expenses, our scouting expenses, and the other expenses that we have within the league and within the game. All completely fair to be seeing a decrease in budget while trying to also build up various parts of the system, both from a player and personnel perspective. But I think this will pose an interesting challenge for me as I take over the Pirates. The other leagues that I have been in usually have had overall and potential as like a single number as well. But I'm excited to move into a game that's got no overall number for, oh, hey, this player is a 55, here are their other ratings. All we're working with here are their other ratings and their statistical performance. This is a great opportunity, I think, to become familiar with that portion again of OOTP. I've played with 3 of the GMs that are currently here in Champions League Baseball, Steelflex, Baron, and Pops, and super excited to be back with them, competing against them as well. Baron is in my division as GM of the Cardinals, so definitely excited about that. Good to see some familiar faces, but definitely don't expect to be really competing for at least a little while. The Pirates are in a tough spot, both from a system and a major league squad perspective, but we're getting close to the end of the regular season. Postseason will move quickly, and then it's into the offseason where we start making decisions about who are we tendering or non-tendering? Who are we trying to keep around? Is there a salary I really want to try to get off the books via trade? And is there anybody I think that could step into a major league role at the beginning of the 2056 season that is in AA or AAA? I think we're all kind of waiting to see what that is. It's still very early days in my tenure here, but excited about the opportunity, excited to be in Champions League Baseball. Thank you to all the management here for allowing me to come in and take over a team. It's definitely going to be a challenge, but what fun is stepping into a playoff team right away versus being able to put my fingerprints all over the Pirates and hopefully help them improve and get back to 500 baseball and the postseason. For now, this is Local Pobs. This has been the Buccos broadcast. This podcast should be available on all major platforms and podcast apps. If it is not on your preferred app of choice, please let me know and I will get it distributed to that system. That is pretty easy to take care of. And if anybody else has any questions about setting up a podcast for their team, please let me know. Again, this is Local Pobs. This is Buccos broadcast. Welcome to the show. Here we go.